Aaron's own beliefs. And I think that hopefully will give Aaron the motivation to gain some sort of consciousness inside of the Titan and do his job.
I was so excited. I was a little sad at first a few episodes ago when Armin was separated from Mikasa and Eren,
Yeah.
even though he has great strategic value in terms of coming up with strategy and being able to quickly think of all of the pieces, all of the characters, and how they can best be utilized. And I was very sad at first when he was separated from them, and to have that scene of him realizing something's gone wrong. I need to get over there. And he gets over there, and his thinking of figuring out exactly where Eren is inside the back of the Titan body, and the ability to, even though he knows he's probably going to hurt his friend here, physically, a physical wound,
Yeah.
he takes the chance that it could wake up Eren and more lives will be saved because the mission will, even if the mission can't go on how it was meant to, at least they'll be able to get Eren out of there.
Yeah, it seemed like he had like a two-tier plan there. Like, okay, I'm going to try this, and if it doesn't work, I'm going to get him out, right?
Yeah.
And we're left with that plot point, which I'm very excited for because I felt like last episode again was like one of the cliffhangers that we've had that we end on like a high note, kind of, or
So
like
hopeful.
so hype and so hopeful, which is also making me scared because I don't want to be disappointed and like have something sad happen. But we're also left with the plot point of Jean stuck
Yes.
in a building with a Titan
Yep.
outside and broken ODM gear. He looked at one of his dead fellow soldiers, and I'm gonna assume that he's gonna try to remove that ODM gear and use that to try to escape.
I have a question for you
Know how that's
on
gonna
that.
go. What?
So Connie and Annie both saw Jean and the predicament he's in, and they saw where he was running. Do you think that they're going to end up trying to find him or come to his rescue in some way, or while he's running to get that gear, maybe they're distracting the Titans? Because if you think about it, wouldn't that be a great idea if they see that there's gear and he's having a malfunction? Give him the chance
Yes.
to get to that gear. And, they could step in and just swing from the roofs and distract him. And I'm wondering if they're going to do that, even though they probably had orders to do their mission and then obviously retreat back to the wall. But didn't Annie say she did bring up orders to the person that was in charge of them, and then he went and died? So
I don't think he died. I thought he got saved last
he
second
did
by
get saved.
right?
no?
No, I think he got saved by Mikasa. Maybe I could be wrong, but Annie did like ask him like if worse comes to worse, like are we able to make our own informed decisions?
Yeah. And so that's what made me
Yeah.
wonder: are they going to make an informed decision here? Annie seems to be very
Talented, brave.
talented. I was thinking probably not someone who would just jump in based on feeling alone and based on, oh, I like Jean as a person, I want to save a friend. I don't think that would be the reason necessarily in this moment that she would jump into action. I think she would have to feel like her possibility of success would be very high for her to do something like
I
that.
can see that. It depends because their view of Jean was that his ODM gear was broken. I don't think we saw them see Jean go into the house that he was at and see the predicament that he's in and understand that he's trying to get that ODM gear. If we see that play out, then I would think Connie at least would do it, or I'm
Yeah.
hoping at least he'd do it. So maybe I'm hopeful. Annie's kind of a badass in the same, like in a lesser extent, but in the same vein as Mikasa. Like I put them both in a similar
I trust
spot.
Annie. Isn't Connie one of the ones that in the elevator shaft mission in HQ, he was also unable to completely dismantle basically the Titan that he was supposed to be attacking, and I think maybe Annie was the one that had to save
I believe
him.
so. Yeah.
So I'm nervous. Obviously, there's a difference in talent there. So I trust Annie that if she was jumping in there, she could do it. And I trust Connie, but I think that there's a different level. I think that Annie's probably in the same form of Mikasa that I would think of.
Yeah. Okay, incoming mispronunciation. Do you think pixies can fight, or at one point was, like, really good?
I have a feeling that many of these commanders are probably hardened from years of battle, and the difference in them is that they've shown not only that they survive. What if they were picked basically because they were the oldest ones that survived?
Okay, so going off that, I have one or two, like, thoughts, right? Either you're old because you haven't seen battle, or you're very impressive because you're old and you have seen battle.
Therefore,
You've survived
you can be in charge.
You've obviously done something right if you have been on the front lines and survived, right?
And it reminds me of the one that he took over for in terms of like when Armin, Mikasa, and Eren were traitorous that needed to be killed. That guy.
Yeah.
He looked like his face was like permanently like, oh my god, I've seen some shit. Like that's how his face looked. Like, and it was also very cowardly, frantic. He couldn't really think, critically about his actions. And it seemed like maybe he's like a good example in my mind of someone who might have become that position because of their survival. And, some of the time I think maybe he survived. That type of person, maybe they survived because they were cowardly. And they weren't right in the heat of battle. They weren't jumping in front of the Titans to try to save one of their comrades. Like maybe that's why people, the older generation, have survived. Is because maybe they were the more cowardly people.
Yeah, I feel that. You good?
Yeah.
Cool. Just a quick reminder, if you'd like to see next week's episode, we offer a 1 week ahead early access on Patreon. And we also offer a P.O. box if you guys want to send us any letters or anything like that. We got sent these awesome cloaks that way. And last but not least, we have been avoiding all social media, including the comment sections on these videos, because we know that the second part of the latest season of Attack on Titan is airing. And screw social media, because I don't even want to risk anything. But after that, just thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I'm excited to check it out.
Oh, I want them to retake Trost so bad. And not because they've spent like 9 episodes in this battle, but...
Remember when Mikasa was like looking at Eren right next to the boulder, and she was like, that would be crazy for him to even lift that. It looked like a big like difference in size.
It's a big boulder.
And I'm worried that now that they're showing that little like picture of it, we won't see it.
I love seeing the ODM gear.
It's so insane. It's almost like fight choreography to a degree.
I was gonna say, if the ODM gear didn't exist in this show, I don't think it would be as like entertaining to watch.
Oh, definitely. Big recap.
Mm-hmm. The big recap makes me think that this episode's gonna be real good.
Yeah, or something significant's gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
I love the music in the show. That was him, right?
Okay.
And no, Ian saved him.
Yep. Ooh. Such a good part.
Oh, look at him. It looks like he regenerated, right?
It did. Didn't he smash his face?
And his hand.
Mm-hmm.
God, I was so obsessed with seeing illustrations of the real world in that book. I'm sure, like, watch it lead to nothing in, like, that instance of
that
it.
Would suck.
but it doesn't even matter. Like, I'm so obsessed with, like, lore and world building in shows that I love that kind of stuff.
I agree with you. One of my favorite things is to imagine myself, like, in the world of a book or a show I just saw.
Yeah.
And it's easiest to do that if there really is a world that you can imagine yourself in.
You brought up that one idea that what if like some guy just like walks up to the wall one day and is like,
yeah, wouldn't that be crazy?
Yeah. That'd be so insane.
I could see that like idea of the stranger mentality causing a lot of chaos among the like normal common people.
I wonder if the government would immediately kill them.
That's what I was wondering. Especially if they had like a different civilization somewhere else.
Yeah.
And maybe they had more hope there. They weren't currently fighting Titans, or they had better technology.
You guys are still fighting Titans over here? You didn't figure it out
We
yet?
already learned how to kill them.
You just have to kiss them on the cheek. Then they die.
Starts a whole like romance anime instead.
Oh god. Here we go. John.
Okay. It doesn't seem like it's looking down. It doesn't seem like it sees him, right?
But it seems like they have a sense of finding. Ugh,
I just want to know what their senses are. Oh, is it walking away from him? Yes. Now's the chance.
I'm scared. Okay, they do see him.
No.
Come on, guys. Just distract. You don't even have to kill it. Just distract it.
Marco!
Marco's such a badass, dude.
I did not think it would
Marco
be Marco.
is such a badass.
Oh, what a sweet boy.
I knew he was sweet right when I saw those freckles, dude.
I mean, honestly. Okay.
Is that broken too?
He completely missed. No. Yes! Oh my god. All of them survived. Whew.
Aaron?
Does he have the boulder? Please tell me he has it. They're all gonna be so impressed. Yes!
Oh my god! Oh my god!
God!
Ian.
Look at that look on his face.
Even if it costs you, okay. I am so scared because I feel so much hope. Look at him, look!
Jean, what about your gear? It looked like it was still busted.
But you're on the ground, man.
Oh my
That's
god, they're
another way to
purely
kill a
acting
Titan.
as distraction?
Dude, the most brave men in the world. Jesus Christ, look how
at
ripped
Glory.
he is!
Oh my god.
This is an inner monologue, right? Of Aaron talking while he's in Titan form. Full consciousness.
No.
Mo-
Was that a hand?
Yeah. Ian.
Oh my god!
Oh my god! That shot was insane. 2 blades at the same time to get out. We did it. That's it, right? You just have to kill the ones in the wall now. You got it.
Look at that shot.
Oh, what a shot.
What do you think now? Gosh.
I'm speechless, man. Okay, he cut him out. Is that blood on Aaron's face? Like by his eyebrows? That's Levi, no? Hell yeah! Oh, that was so kick-ass.
Oh my gosh, came in with style. Hey, Brat!
What's going on here? We just took back the wall, dude. That's what's going on here. It's so grim, but this is the first victory, right? First victory against the Titans. He's the first one who jumped in to save him. We didn't see him. They killed him off screen. I don't like seeing his face like that.
Are those all people?
Yeah. It's like a fucking hairball of fucking people. Fuck. I was feeling like so good even after like they were like we couldn't celebrate. We lost 800 people. Then fucking this. A cell. So did Pixies like mean that he guaranteed their survival but not necessarily their freedom? Pixies did tell.
To the mystery of the Titans.
Are the same in principle as you? There was like a reverb in his voice there.
Did you see his eyes there?
Yeah. That's a similar like a way he worded things as Levi did when we first saw him.
I'll take responsibility for him. Believe it.
Only I can do it. Gives me some Gojo vibes. Fuck, I have so many questions. Okay.
Yeah, real suspect. Whatever that line was.
The Colossal Titan and Armored Titan are the same in principle as you. What comes before that, though? Like, what's the precursor? It's likely the Titans will determine our fate.
Is it same in principle because they can decide fate? The Armored and the Colossal are the reasons the walls were broken down. So that determines humanity's fate by letting all the Titans in.
Yeah, it seems, but like he's obviously classifying these three in a different category than the others. you know?
I mean, they do different action. They actually do an action other than just hunt humans.
Yeah. Are the same in principle as you. So, okay. So we've like talked about if we've classified Aaron as a Titan with those two because they seem like the standouts and most humanistic, right?
Yeah, and they just also in design are totally different.
But
Aaron's honestly the lesser different than the other two are. Because, like, the Colossal is, like, no skin. The Armored, like, has, you know, like, it's, like, not a lot of skin, but then there's, like, almost patches where it is skin that look like armor.
yeah. That's weird. I also, like, I don't know if it's the version of the show we're watching. We're watching Crunchyroll.
So you're
if
thinking language was different, possibly?
no.
Translation?
No, this is a different point. So if I'm correct in what I'm about to say, and it's just our version, please recommend a version that you deem better. When Annie jumped down, I swear that it looked weird. Like, maybe it was just skipping frames or something. But where would it be? This. Okay. So this was weird to me.
This, like, shot
So,
of her?
yeah. So I'm going to back it up even a little more. So, like, we're getting, like, a full-on action scene, right? And Connie just jumps away. Jean's jumping away. There's a Titan right in front of him about to kill him. Right? Seemingly. Still frame on that. Still frame on Annie.
Explosion of some sort.
We don't see it. And then back to Jean.
Yeah, that is weird. You're totally right. I figured she just slashed its neck.
Why wouldn't we see that?
You're very right.
Maybe just
That's
like
odd.
maybe it's like a animation thing and they just budget thing, but I wouldn't think so. Season
Maybe it was
1
just
of a
because
show.
he was still moving, even though she was, you know, doing that. So we just more follow his trajectory.
Maybe, but it's Jean's reaction to seeing this Titan in front of him, right? And this reminds me of when an abnormal Titan jumped up and tried to...
And grab Thomas, right?
Yeah. So then I'm like, okay, we see Annie here. We're going to see her jump in and save the day. Maybe it happens and it's maybe our cut that is weird. But I thought that was weird.
I was wondering who she was mourning. I think it went by pretty quickly. Like, obviously, we know that Sasha was seeing all of those bodies in the vomit, which I want to talk about.
Yo, don't get me
writing that
fucking
down
started,
about
bro.
vomit.
Oh, no, I thought, okay, vomit, yeah. I thought you were going to fucking talk about Marco, because I don't think I'm emotionally ready to talk about that.
There was a time and a place, and we just needed to be like, okay, now we're going to talk about Marco.
Yeah, I can't do that quite yet.
So the vomit.
Oh, but real quick, so this is Annie.
Oh, this is Annie's.
Mourning somebody. It didn't look like they're in the same position as Marco was, you know?
She's saying I'm sorry, which made me think...
Is it just a general?
I don't know. It made me think that it was someone who maybe she wasn't able to save them in time. Maybe she didn't really actually know them, and it was like...
Is something off screen?
At the very end of battle, maybe she wasn't able to save them. She said she was sorry, so I felt like, oh my god, why do you have to show that to me?
I'm sorry, I'm trying to find... It's... Everybody...
When did he die?
I hate that it happened off screen, too. That kills me on the inside.
Give
and
us,
it makes
like,
it
at
hurt
least
so much more. This
some
man...
lore for that character.
He was the one who jumped in
He
first.
He was like, what's up, guys? Why are you standing here? And then as soon as he saw the situation that Jean was in, he jumped into action. And I was
acted.
like, gold star, amazing, such a sweetie.
Yo, the fucking... I have a human hairball I have written down.
So, like, I didn't realize those were people at first. I just thought that the vomit was yellow colored. And then when, obviously, you learn it and you zoom back out, you can see the, like, logos, you know, on the back, and you can start to make out the fact that it's all human bodies.
I didn't know what it was. It makes obvious sense. I thought it was, like, spider webs or something around it, but that's spit, I'm assuming.
I thought maybe at least someone could survive within a Titan, you know, enough that... if they got vomited up, they would survive. I thought that would be the case. I obviously, unless they were like chewed to pieces.
That's completely fucked.
Is it too dangerous for them to dig the bodies out of that? Is like Titan vomit like acidic, poisonous?
It looked like
in some way?
The body's skeletal at this point. No, like this looks like severe decomposition and aging, like mummification.
It does
almost
look like mummification. Right.
There's another thing that I talked about in the same vein as that Annie shot. That again, I'm like, okay, is it our version that we're watching on? This one's gonna be a little harder to find for me, so bear with me. Okay, here you go.
Oh, are you gonna talk about the purple sidewalk?
Yeah.
Yeah, I noted that, and also there's blue up, so obviously his body's like glowing blue in this particular frame, and the purple sidewalk. Is this like an accidental, like they forgot to color it in when they were animating it? That was like version? My first thought was maybe they drew the blocks and like someone forgot to come in and color them.
Yeah.
'Cause why else would they be purple? Unless you were emphasizing that his feet were so heavy that it literally broke up tiles from the ground and threw them in the air.
It could just be a visual cue for us.
It's just a weird one.
Same with the blue, like you were saying.
They do give us weird coloration in very specific moments that is always very interesting. They've only really done it like 2 to 3 times. This was probably like the 3rd time. And I wonder, I keep note of it in my head because I'm like, what if that's like a theme of like very specific moments that people don't super pay attention to, that they kind of like hide in there.
Yeah.
And so that's why I'm keeping note of any time there's like a really change in color, saturation, any type of bright color that does not belong in that current situation, isn't natural.
So I guess 2 more things right off the bat. The oldest record of a Titan appearing is 107 years ago. That was a mid roll. And
year
then,
107?
I thought it was,
because it wouldn't be 100.
Titans appeared 107 years ago.
Yeah, but weren't they in this peaceful situation for like a long time before Titans showed up?
What do you mean?
Did Titans appear at the wall 107 years ago? Because I feel like they've been in this
It says over a century ago.
Huh. They've been peaceful for over a century?
I think that they appeared over a century ago. And the Titans appeared over a century ago, and this says the oldest available records say the Titans appeared 107 years ago. They devoured most of humanity. I think that's when are you saying that like it feels like it's been like the Titans have been around for like 500 years, 1,000 years? Because I get you.
I felt like humans had been in here longer, and my only like reason for really thinking that was obviously they had like had this peaceful, like if you're going with 100 years ago, there's still going to be people with knowledge of the outside world, possibly alive, maybe when you were born or something.
You are so right.
And there's also going to be, if we think about Mikasa's family, her mom was like the last known pure Japanese person.
Yeah, pure Asian.
I feel like there would be more of that sort of situation with different ethnicities. There would be like more talk of that, especially if it's only been 100 years.
Was it?
There'd be more secret books
okay.
about the outside world.
I agree. Maybe we're looking at it wrong. Maybe okay, real quick before I say that, I'm 100% with you because I think sometimes I forget, or if this is wrong or something, that it was only 100 years ago, because like I'm like, oh, it had to be 1,000 years ago, because of the fact that it's like no one knows what it's like on the outside world. I think we might be comparing their outside world to our outside world. We don't know what society or life was like before the Titans appeared.
We don't. What if like there weren't a lot of Japanese people to begin with before Mikasa's mom ended up here, you know, and her family.
Yeah.
Also, the oldest available record.
That's very specific wording.
That does not necessarily mean that they weren't around before that. And that it just mainly is telling us that this obvious time 107 years ago was the most notable of their existence. So what if there was a time that it wasn't really an issue?
Maybe it's like a reoccurring plague type thing. Like maybe it's like
they do talk about epidemics quite a bit. This is the second time that they've really brought it up with humanity going through an epidemic. Which I was a little confused about for this episode. I guess if you left all of those bodies like that. I was wondering if the remains of like Titan vomit on a human body could cause some form of epidemic. I wasn't quite sure. I guess if you have all those dead bodies around, that like isn't good, because then the flies, and the bugs and having it around living people isn't good. So I understand it.
Huh. I like what like it could be every thousands of years they appear, Do we have any record of when the wall was built?
I don't think we have like an exact. Honestly, I think they've been in this safe enclosure. I thought it was that they had been safe in the city for a while. And I can't remember the exact number, but I thought it was for 100 years that there had been peace. Yeah. So in that logic, it would have taken them 7 years to build the walls.
Yeah.
But I feel like I'm missing something in this timeline.
So,
I feel like maybe I'm forgetting something, or obviously this is information they can share so far. So maybe I'm not actually missing something and they're just not telling me something.
Okay, is this something like 107 years ago? Is this a timetable? So there's a little marker above the. I feel like a fucking crackpot. 107 years ago, there's a little like marker thing here. 107. So like years ago, where are we today? What is this? Is this the Colossal Titan?
It looks like the Colossal Titan.
107 years ago, what variations of 10 years maybe? So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. When did...
I think you're wrong on that. Work. I think it's 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 875. I don't know.
But it's only been 107 years since since the oldest record, right? I'm thinking... So what I was trying to say, sorry, I wasn't clear, is that these are all records of, like, a Titan... Not necessarily Titans appearing, because... This could be when Titans appeared, and Titans could still be within this gap, but maybe a significant event, right? So maybe a Colossal Titan appeared 107 years ago, and that's why we're seeing this marker. Maybe something like that appeared here, 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 and then maybe this gap in between the time spans, if that's like a timetable, is like another event of it appearing.
Like our current event.
Yeah. I don't know. This does give me a feeling that it's a timetable.
Why would
right?
they give us one and then put little markers over other areas other than the 107 years ago if it didn't actually mean something?
Do you want to know why? It's because it's information we can share so far. God damn it.
They can't put anything over titling over the other notches on the timeline. Okay.
Fucking killed
next
Marco.
On my list.
Sorry.
Ian.
Oh, they fucking killed Ian too.
Yep. They not only did they kill Ian, but Ian did what Aaron did with Armin. Oh my god, literally sacrificing himself, bro. Reversing, like throwing a comrade out and basically taking his place. Holy moly.
I'm so used to hopeful anime, I thought someone was going to save him.
It was really hopeful at the beginning. Why did they have to go on foot? I'm still trying to completely understand why is there because there wasn't a lot of buildings exactly where Aaron was?
Yeah, I mean, so from what I understand the layout of a city, it'd be like the whole wall, up here is the gate, the city's all over here. The closer to the gate, the less buildings there'd be. So there'd almost be
There
like
were
a half
lot of
oval.
buildings destroyed. closer
Destroyed,
to
but
the
also it
wall.
looked like they had trenches of some sort.
Yeah.
So I would imagine that the closer you get to the gate, it is less filled with buildings, and that's also the most concentrated area where Titans would continually be swarming in, right?
Yes,
So you'd
okay.
need to get them out of that area, and the only way you could distract them is if you get very close to them, so you'd have to go on
The only
foot.
way you could do it. Dang.
Which instantly gives me a flashback of when they did the culling before, and they sent all of those people out with pitchforks
Yeah.
on foot.
I mean, all of those people literally knew they were going to die. They were like, we have to die, and we have to do this in order for this mission to be a success. I'm really glad that Rico's still alive. I was like probably hating a little too much on Rico a few episodes ago because I disagreed with what she was saying.
Dude, Rico's
in
a
conversation
badass.
with Ian. But like, I obviously note that she is a badass, and that her reasons of thinking weren't like crazy or unreasonable. Obviously, it's like she was there as the logic of what most people were thinking. Like, why would we sacrifice our lives over something that isn't proven, isn't like a sure thing? We're gonna lose so many troops. I think that it was like 207 died and like over 800 were wounded. And there was a lot that were missing as well, and I can't remember what number that was. But for Rico to then like collapse, like I loved that shot of like we have Aaron plugging the hole,
Oh
and then
my God,
Rico was
yeah.
standing there, and we got a shot of Rico watching Aaron do that. I was like, yes! See? I had faith in Aaron, and now so should you. Like,
Yeah.
and then to like have Rico say like none of you died in vain. Obviously not cause for celebration, as a lot of the people, I don't think it was like Pixies that said that, but it was like the monologue overtone of when they showed the people back on the wall, the strategists with Pixies. And they were saying that obviously too many lives were lost for this to be a celebratory
to celebrate.
mission. But it is note that those lives were not lost for nothing. The hole was plugged. There's so many just common people that will probably survive now because of this. Like just the daughters, the wives, and the families that some of those soldiers were worried about. Like they don't have to be culled. They can live. They took back this area. The hole was plugged. They're rebuilding it. Those people don't have to go without food necessarily. They don't have to be culled. And those are people who haven't taken on the life mission of basically trying to protect humanity against the Titans. Those are just the average people, the children, the elderly. And I was so happy to have that moment.
I felt like when he was saying like we lost that many, we shouldn't celebrate. I was like, in my head I was like, oh, we lost that many, but this is our first victory, and then they fucking show
And
us
then I was
Marco,
like, and
bro.
no one I like died.
Fucking
Yay!
Christ,
Because
dude.
I remember being like, I think I literally was like, Marco, you're such a sweet boy when it happened. And why? I mean, just, but like, Jean, okay. I have like 2 more things I want to talk about in this discussion.
Yeah.
So we have Jean and his character development, and then obviously the final conversation, but more we focused on like what Erwin was saying to Aaron.
Yeah.
But we never focused on Levi. And I think us focusing on Levi for like a little bit of time would be nice at the end of this discussion, because obviously Levi is the segue of where Aaron will be next. So that's a great
Yes.
ending for the discussion.
His keeper.
His keeper. So until then, Jean and his character development. So I was surprised, like, when Aaron was not recognized yet, and he was in the Titan form, and then was kind of being cornered with Armin and Mikasa, and like all of the other friends that had known were all kind of like, what's going on over there? And a lot of them ran over there to see what was happening after the explosion. And I kept wondering, are any of them going to make a move on behalf of Aaron at any point? Are they going to stake their kind of ideas of who he is as a person and the friend they've come to know in Jean's for Jean, it's a person that has inspired him and has seemingly they have a friendship. I think they definitely do.
Yeah.
Even though maybe if you asked them directly, they would say no. But they definitely have just like Aaron would care if Jean died, and Jean would care if Aaron died, and both of them would be like, "How dare you go and die?" You know. And for none of them had really like been like, "Oh, Aaron, we're gonna run in." They ran in to see what happened with the explosion, but none of them like put their lives on the line to be like, "No, I trust Aaron." Obviously, they didn't really need to because Pixis came in, and you know, now we're here where we are. But as soon as Jean was basically back from the dead, he could have died. He saw that they needed to help Aaron. He was like, Aaron's about to complete the mission. We need to go. Even though he knew that it was basically like all of them could die with this last push
like,
to getting the boulder.
Because it seemed like his ODM gear still wasn't
exactly. That's
properly,
what I was
right?
wondering when he like basically...
This trigger's hard to pull down.
He got back on the wall and then he immediately went after with everyone else. And I was like,
him.
This is... I mean, well, he was on the ground, so I guess he technically didn't really need his ODM gear if they were going to run around on the ground, except for, like, quick escape.
Yeah, and, like, grappling onto the Titan itself. We saw this really cool Mikasa kill of her, like, slide tackling a Titan, like behind it and then cutting it off. Like, it's, like, back neck into two pieces or one piece. That was so cool.
I think it's, like, so amazing for that character in his introduction, but also, like, obviously Annie and Connie did the same thing. And Marco, they all ran in when they knew that they could die. And they knew that most of them would. And they all ran in anyway. And I'm like, yes, they're soldiers. They were trained for this. They knew that this might be inevitable. But Jean in particular is the person who wanted to be like military police. He wanted to be not around the Titans. He didn't want to be involved in any of this. I believe Marco didn't want to be either. Wasn't he the one that was also swayed by Aaron's conversation?
I believe
when
so.
When the Colossal Titan showed up, it was like a couple minutes before that, and few friends were saying that they were also going to join the Survey Corps like Aaron. And I think Marco had wanted to also do what Jean was going to do. And to have those characters, even though they're basically... I mean, they're not children, but they're so young to just decide to put humanity ahead of them and the chance of plugging that hole, like, is amazing.
It is. And they did it. I think that it was really interesting that, like, Levi's apparent change, right? Like, he was, like, kind of like...
Oh, his eyes, like, there's this little, like, circle
There was, like, a little, like, light...
It was so cute.
Like, life in his eyes.
Like a little glisten.
A glimmer of, like, faith.
And it kind of matched Aaron's eyes looking so dramatic.
It was too close up. It was a close-up of each, right? I want to watch it again. Yeah, I love how they draw his eyes. Answer up, you piece of crap. What do you want to do, you know?
It's like he was waiting for Aaron to give the answer that he wanted.
Then it's like this maniacal
it's like he's bad cop.
Look. Yeah, it is like he's bad cop. But like, do you see his eyes right now?
I was more like focused on his mouth. It's like he's like gritting his teeth like this. Oh, I'm gonna. It's just
look at that. Look at that.
It's amazing. And it's like, you know, he just kind of had this little change and like it almost like it's softened here.
Oh,
not bad. Amazing.
Did you notice how he was like, I'm the only one who can do it? It totally gave me Gojo Sukuna vibes.
Think about his appearance in this episode. Think about how freaking epic
him coming in
was. I knew it was a character that we should be excited about by just how they animated his entrance and the surprise of it. Like, they didn't show us who it was until basically the very end.
I thought it was him when I first saw him based off of his, like, Trunks haircut, and then I didn't want to get it wrong. Okay, what?
Because they were thinking
blood?
it was Mikasa.
It looks veiny. It looks like the Titan's vein skin on Aaron's head right here, right?
I was thinking it was a burn. Because he was so hot that maybe ripping
totally
him out of it was like it burned him. But how could it not if he was inside like such a hot thing that like is literally steaming?
Okay, want to know what it could be?
What?
It could be where he was hurt as a Titan. So look at this little screen grab. So he's holding the rock up on like the right side of his face almost, right? And he felt like he was being crushed by it.
I mean, he had to use his body that way to be able to carry it.
And he said that
he had to almost bruise. You're right, that part of his face.
And he said that it felt like it was crushing him. That's the right side of his face. This is the right side of his face. But that being said,
but it was on top of his head too.
Yeah.
So that would make sense for what would be like bruising him too.
God, I want to see his entrance.
I mean, isn't that an interesting idea? That the wounds that he would get on his Titan body would also happen on his human body to some degree?
Yeah, but then we've seen him regenerate.
Yeah,
too.
But they did have to pull him out probably before he could fully regenerate.
When he woke up, he was fine. He didn't have the scars or burns.
He didn't have the cut in his arm from Armin either.
Yeah.
I mean, he might have, but they didn't show us.
Oh my God, he just flew in!
It's
Jesus Christ!
Fast, and like they stood no chance. Not even that abnormal that 8 Thomas with his like leapfrog jumps could have stood a chance with that. Okay,
so you know how we were like pointing out things that we saw earlier in the discussion that I was like, oh, if it's our version. This is why I think it might be our version, and then like there's a better version. It almost looks like in this moment there's dropped frames because of how slow the pixels are about to rise from this Titan, and then it speeds up when Levi enters frame. Look, see?
Yeah.
You see that? Mm-hmm. Also, and then it slows down again. Well, that could just be his vision, to be honest.
Dreamlike vision state.
Yeah. Then there was one other thing. They do something for some animes, for I think English audiences, that if there's a succession of flashing lights, that they dim the color. Like it looked like they dimmed it there to prevent seizures potentially. So I wonder if that's what that was, or it's what it's meant to be. And then I'm like, what? Maybe they cut the Annie scene weird earlier because of a similar thing.
Oh.
It could be whatever, but I definitely thought it was notable. Same with the...
I mean, for this show in particular, to even think about them possibly cutting anything makes you think about, like, censorship of, like, giant humanoid naked Titan things running around. Because we have seen in some countries they put, like, clothing on the Titans.
Oh, my God.
I've seen pictures of that. It's pretty funny.
When we were, like, during the intro of like the OP of this, I kept being like, how could they make this easier on Aaron to get the boulder to the gate? And I was like, oh man, what if they like put it in a sack and like Aaron was like Santa Claus? Yeah, and we had like Santa Claus Titan. I think weird things.
On like every Christmas sweater ever.
Real quick, we have to talk about that.
You're so right. I forgot about this. What sizes were they?
I want to write it down. During the operation, humanity managed to take 1 4 meter
and a 7 alive. Mm-hmm. And like, look how so they nailed their legs to the ground. That's really interesting.
What are they?
Are they pinning their joints, or are they actually like
nailing
into
them?
The actual
What's around
ground?
their neck? Is that wire?
I don't know, because it also looks hard.
It looks like it could be hard or very taut. You know what I mean?
You're right. Also, look at that guy with just like a full-on hammer. He looks so like confident. He's like, "You're tied up. I'm like the warden with the hammer. You better not do any funny stuff."
You have some serious, like, I would not want that job.
No,
I would not trust it. What for?
Yeah, what's he gonna do with that? I guess like smash his eyes or something.
I was thinking he was nailing him in with the hammer. Yeah.
It's for the big nails.
Yeah.
That's what it's for. You're right. I was like, is he there to like whack-a-mole their eyeballs or
what
something
are the up? Like, why are you capturing them? I don't assume we've done that before, have we?
But what if we have this whole time? What if that's how we know everything about them? Is it any mission where we actually can capture any alive? We try. Remember, I think that was one of my things that I was like, what if they just like, what if when they were in the training, I was like, what if they captured some smaller titans and that's how they had everyone train? But they like didn't do that. But like, just they must dissect them, right? To see if they can learn anything else.
I mean, I guess so. We also learned the information today about the hairball thing.
The vomit, yes.
So that's like
which I absolutely despise, and I want to know more about the contents of. Like, I want to know, is it if they're so hot inside, is there anything that comes out of their body then almost like lava? We said it mummified people. Aaron was in that blood for a while.
Aaron saw someone currently in the process of dying in there, right?
Yeah, so it must be some... And I was wondering why that person was dying. I was like, it looks like they could stand up, just like Aaron is. But, I mean, they could have been missing the lower half of their body, and I didn't know that. But I think it would make a lot more sense if it was acidic.
Yeah.
To a crazy degree, or like lava, almost.
So they lack reproductive organs, they lack digestive systems.
Which proves that they are literally just eating humans to kill humans. Like, we saw for the first time, we never even heard of them. We were wondering, well, when they eat all those people, where does it go? I thought that maybe their body broke it down in some way in their like lava tummies. But
it completely kills my idea of potentially like them like taking the humans back to the forest and then like birthing them into titans.
That was one of your theories.
Yeah, it completely X's that out. I want to quickly this chick is creepy as hell, but I'm sure that it's just from everything she's ever seen.
Her job is literally to just look at dead bodies every time.
Yeah, that makes complete sense. Oh my god.
Like, look, it's almost like she's exhausted.
Yeah.
Like, she brings up that, like, if we don't do this soon, we don't have a second or another second, like, another tragedy will happen. Nothing she says is overly, like, rude. You know, it's almost like, is that Hans talking to Annie? It's not like the words she says are cruel or mean. In a way, she's like, you can't grieve yet, but she's not saying for him to never grieve and never mourn Marco's death. And she's not saying that it's a travesty that this happened. She's just being kind of to the point that, like, you have to put your feelings aside for a second, because if we don't do this quickly, and she was also like, please let me know his name if you know it. And I was wondering if that was more for like, a census of like the people.
I think it is.
Who dies for the military, so they know exactly who's missing, who's dead. But it did feel more like acknowledge him with his name, you know, after his death. Like, tell me if you know it, so he can. Because think about all the like unmarked graves or something with soldiers. Even like even if the person died and you were mourning them, it still brings people a lot of closure to have a name to that person died, that person's buried. I mean,
think about the first or second episode where we see them bring back an arm for
the like
family
mom.
member.
I think it was the mom of that person.
Is this them burning the bodies
to prevent? Yeah. Which and then
you transition to a fucking torch in the cell. Awesome. Great editing.
That makes me wonder, do they bury people at all in this
where are you gonna do it?
Exactly. I'm wondering if that's how they get rid of dead bodies, is they burn them, they cremate them.
Crazy that they have cells like
also
this.
Why are there so many chains in that cell with like different arm hooks?
Obviously there's criminals in this world, right?
Yeah, but sometimes, I guess, do they chain a bunch of people up in there? I like that they gave him a bed.
In my mind, nice. It's Pixis.
Oh, and they gave him new clothes, too.
Yeah, it's Pixis who's doing all this for him.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Is that a headcanon?
It is, but it's also, like, that means he also is the person who told Commander Irwin about the key and what...
Oh, because he is. He is the one that told him about the key.
He had to. That's... Unless it was Armin or Mikasa, right? Were they there?
No, I think he says that, I thought he said that Pixies told him this.
I don't think so.
Or Aaron said it or something.
That's what my father said.
You have amnesia.
And your dad's missing. How? Pretty convenient. I
feel like Erwin can be trusted.
I feel like I love their relationship. Erwin and Levi.
And
It's like a father-son kind of thing.
Oh.
To get to your house. I thought this was interesting. So they're like, to get to their house, they want to retake everything. They're not trying to get to the basement, get in there, see what's in there, and leave.
They're like, we're not gonna risk losing people just solely to get you to your basement.
Well, no. I think they are, but I think they're doing it in the same, like, they want to also retake. Yeah,
at the same time.
But isn't it like, in my head, I was like, oh, it's gonna be like a stealth mission. They're gonna try to get to the house and ignore, like, or hide from all these Titans, and then quickly look in there.
That's what I first thought would happen. But I wonder if they're working this in to get Aaron to help, because obviously Aaron probably wants to know what's in the basement. So they might have used it as if we tell him that he can do this while we're taking back that area, but then we can also use the fact that he's there in Titan form to help us retake that area.
How are you going to do that?
So it's like, we'll give you something if you give us something back. But I don't think they completely planned that he would respond with saying... I thought it almost gave me the feeling that they expected him to be like, I want to know about Titans and why they exist, and so I need to go to the basement. He was like, no, I just want to kill Titans.
We got to thankfully seal the gate here and then kill the Titans. That seems like their plan for the Wall Maria, right? Mm-hmm. And how many Titans are you going to have to kill after you seal that gate?
I mean, that wall, the area that wall protects looks ginormous. Well, we knew that the Titans even made it to, like, more remote towns, because some of the people that were in the training with Eren, Mikasa, and Armin were from, like, little villages.
Yeah.
Kind of like where Mikasa was born and her family was. And Titans were even there.
You ready for how smooth this man is? Commander Erwin, ready for this?
Are you going to be like the pun? Your decision is the key?
Yeah, your decision is the key. Holds up the key that can save humanity from despair. Then Aaron's like, I am the key. Has the flashbacks to his dad giving him the key, and he's like, oh, I'm the key.
Why is everyone amazing with their word choice in this show? Question though.
Yeah.
What does he have amnesia about? I don't really remember. Is it amnesia?
It has to be about the exact instance of his dad injecting him with a needle. It has to be, right?
Okay, about how he came to get the key and how he came to have this, like, Titan ability.
Because it's in the same sentence as your dad's missing, right?
Because as soon as they said the word amnesia, I'm like, I never, like, thought that, like, put that on Eren, that he had amnesia. But I guess that
you have amnesia and your dad's missing.
Oh! Your dad's missing! I literally just caught on to that.
You are very right.
I thought maybe he had just gone back up and to be with everyone else that he was a doctor to or whatever.
No, in one of our discussions, you had previously said, what if they took him captive or killed him, like the higher ups? And that could be he's missing, right?
He could be missing on his own accord.
Or yeah.
I mean, what if he obviously wasn't planning on returning to the basement himself. He wouldn't have given Eren the key and the injection and been like, you need to go there.
That's why
he was planning on going himself. So what if he just, like, ran away?
No,
maybe he knew he would get captured?
In my, like, how I envision our flashback that we've gotten a couple times of his dad is that it was, like, in a rush. Like, it was a very tense moment in a rush. So I'm thinking his dad was on the run, did it to him, and said, like, you're our only chance or whatever, and continued running, or was captured and they, Levi and Erwin don't know about it.
Yeah.
It is clarification, though, that his dad isn't just, like, chilling and
Yeah.
everybody
I mean,
knows
I'm
it.
glad to know his dad isn't just chilling as a home doctor for some rich people up in the safety of the upper walls. I think it's like Wall Sina is the like smallest wall in the middle.
Maria, Rose, and Cena.
Yeah. Sina or Cena? Cena?
John Cena.
No, not that.
Okay,
Okay, that's all I have.
Okay.
Do you have anything else?
One thing. The ending credit thing that we've seen forever,
5
right?
billion times.
This 100% like reminds me of like a caveman painting, you know, or like a etching in a
crude.
cave. And that is what has always made me feel like 100 years? It's only been 100 years. But again, they said the oldest record that they have. And we know that their records are altered based off of the government that they have. Because they don't want people knowing the outside world.
You're so freaking right with that point. How do we even know if the records they're talking about are even the actual, like, ones? They might be redacted. They might be changed.
This seems so primitive of a drawing. And the fact that they used boats to somewhat escape of something. And I don't know. That like this seems like a different scene than what our current situation is.
I feel like the only thing we can trust in terms of like history is what we get in those little what we can tell you so far. That's the only thing we can trust as fact. But I think it can be very misleading. It obviously sends us on all of these tangents. But it is the only thing that we can trust as fact, because I don't trust everything that they're being told, especially in terms of like, we know that there's a book, a secret book that Armin and Aaron were always looking at, and Armin's family was really swayed by this book of the outside world, and you can't talk about the outside world. That's like traitorous, that's treason to talk about the outside world. And I feel like that as soon as you try to keep people from talking about things, even if it was like the old way of life, I mean, that's some people's past, especially if that was like 107 years ago. Like I said, when Aaron and them were born, they might have had a grandparent that was still alive like then, that would have been there as a kid or something. And I feel like once you start trying to limit what people can see and what people can know, that means you're hiding something for some reason.
How is that a thing? Like, the oldest person I think we've known in the show is Pixie's and Armin's grandfather, who I don't know how old he was.
I think the oldest person we've seen is Armin's grandfather. Well, actually, I can't tell. Was he like, are they both super old, but like Pixie's is in really good shape? I can't tell.
But that's such a good point, because like in such 100 years really isn't that long of a time in the grand scheme of things.
A person can be alive for 100 years.
In
sometimes
such
a few years over that.
In such a small period of time, obviously Titans devoured most of humanity, right? Does that mean
this is an older they might what's it called? The mortality rate might not be like where people live to that age anyway.
So Titanic, right? Who do you save first?
They saved the women and the children.
Is this a scenario of the same? Is that why we don't see any older people? Like that the last humans, like right when the Titans appeared, they were like, okay, children and everything go, and maybe like a few elders or whatever, we're going to stay behind and like die. And maybe that's why we don't have the history.
Is that how they handled when the first couple episodes? Like in the first episode? Yeah, I thought they just kind of let whoever was first come, first serve on the little
No, I
boats.
agree. But like I'm saying, before the institution that we have.
No, I know. I was
is
just
in
trying
place.
to see if that also happened again in our current time period.
Yeah, but I do think you, like a couple minutes ago when you said that the only information you feel like we can trust is the mid-roll, because I agree, because I think how you worded it's very specific. It's not necessarily we take at what they're saying at a face value, but we read it as information we can share so far. The oldest available record